Okie dokie, artichokes, goal kicks. If 80% of the goals in the academy are scored off of just big long balls and fast breaks, I don't know, at least a solid 5 to 7% of the other goals come off of goal kicks, and not goal kicks that you are defending, goal kicks that you are taking. And in the academy, you are basically still defending when you are taking a goal kick. You're more likely to get scored on trying to take a goal kick than defending a corner kick. So you really have to treat your own goal kicks kind of like a corner kick. You got to get marked up. And you got to make good decisions. So, so obviously, if we're taking a goal kick here, if you have a goalkeeper that you trust to not only be able to hit the ball well, hit the ball hard, and just make good decisions, then it's great to have that goalkeeper take the ball. But if you absolutely do not, or if you have a little goalkeeper in there that only weighs about as much as the ball and they're going to struggle to even get it out of the box, let your goalkeeper stay as a goalkeeper and take a player from any other position on the field. It makes no difference, and have them come and take the goal kick. Because again, the job for us on these goal kicks is to not get ourselves scored on within 5 seconds of taking the goal kick. So here's how we organize it. So let's assume your goalkeeper is going to take it. So your goalkeeper will take it. The opposing team is going to have a forward. They're going to have a left midfielder. They're going to have a right midfielder. They're going to have a center midfielder. They're going to have a couple of defenders, and then they're going to have a goalkeeper. Yes? So our job here is to defend all of these players, right? So your midfielder on this side can stand in front of that player, right? Your center midfielder can get in front of their center midfielder. Your two defenders can get in front of the next closest players, right? And then your midfielder on this side, depending on where these players are, can either try to drop in here and maybe we can play to that space, or they can just push up higher to maybe cut out this defender, right? So all we're doing here is we're not playing passes out of this most of the time, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of kids at this age that are just strong enough to just smash one across midfield in the air. So we're marking up. We're marking up, right? We're going to knock this ball. We're just going to tell whoever's taking that goal kick to just hit it as hard as they can to open space, any open space, right? It used to always be a thing where you never, ever, ever wanted players to play the ball across the goal. But we are playing on small enough fields now that if you do have somebody strong enough that can do that, that's totally fine if they're knocking it hard and into open space, because that gets us out of danger, keeps us from getting scored on straight away. Even going through the middle, if you can find a gap, gets us out of danger, doesn't get us scored on straight away. Trying to blast the ball through here gets us out of danger, doesn't get us scored on straight away. Just coming wide to the sideline gets us out of danger, doesn't get us scored on straight away. So again, when we are doing these, all we are trying to do, right, we're just trying to be safe and sensible, whatever it takes to not get us scored on immediately. Now, here is another little kind of cheat for the academy. If your team is having a tough time doing this, all right, and by the way, you're going to have to explain this to your kids, so I'll explain it to you guys as well. If this is their forward and your defender is here, the sole job of your defender is to prevent them from touching the ball. So if this goal kick does come right out to them, right, your little defender cannot let this attacker just jump right in front of them and take that ball. So your defender there has to understand, right, that their job is to not let this player touch the ball. So when that ball comes, just immediately, right, try to get that ball out to the side somewhere, right? Just whatever prevents them from getting a touch. So they're going to have to be confrontational there, and they're going to have to be tough. So what else you can do here is goal kicks don't have to be taken from these little corners. Goal kicks can also be taken from the middle. So if you want to, right, you can have your team set them up in the middle, and then that forward, right, their right midfielder, their left midfielder, right, they are probably going to be drawn a little bit more into the middle. Okay, so again, you guys, here, I'll put their team in circles so your team can come and defend those players, right? Their little center midfielder, defender. Now there's just a lot more space to play out on these things, and there might even be more obvious gaps coming through the middle. And again, what I'm telling my players to do every time, and when I jump in and help you guys out, I'm not ever telling the person that's taking this goal kick to play a pass. I'm telling them to hit it like a shot. Don't hit it to where there are any players. Just spot a gap and blast that ball through, right? And if you have somebody that's strong enough to hit it across midfield, I would still organize just like this, because now when that ball comes out, now at least we're back here and we're together, and when we turn to attack, we're now facing the right direction. We're pretty much in our shape already, and it just allows us to get forward and create that counterattack, right? And if you are just absolutely determined that your team is going to always play short and try to keep possession out here, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But if you can do this a few times, eventually you are going to readjust how the other team plays. If you were just constantly knocking the ball past them, a good coach on the opposite side, instead of having their players stand right up here against the box, right, they're going to have their players drop away a little bit to try to keep the game in front of them. And when they drop away a little bit, that still creates more time and space. Oh, now they're on the other team. That creates more time and space for this player of yours to receive that ball, look up the field, and try to make decisions, right? So if you are successful doing this, either you're going to continue to be successful doing it, or eventually you're going to alter the way the other team plays against you, which is, it's another win. It's another satisfaction from your players having done a good job, that you are now effectively changing the way that your opponent plays. And again, just like with everything else, your players, not even just at the end of this season, at the end of next season when they've been doing this for a year, they are not going to be able to organize this themselves. So the second that the other team shoots and they miss the ball out of bounds, while your goalkeeper is running to get that ball, you are immediately getting the rest of your team organized, so by the time they have retrieved that ball and they have brought it back, everybody else is organized and set up. So you cannot just let them switch their little brains off. And the analogy that I use with my kids all the time is riding in the car. When their parents stop at a red light, they don't cut the engine off, they keep their engine running, right? And they keep their engine running so once that light turns green and they have their opportunity to go again, they are ready to go. So it's the same thing here. Just because the ball has left play, your players' engines don't shut off, right? And you're going to have to help make sure that happens, and you do that by giving them immediately their next job. What is your next responsibility? That responsibility is over. What do you have to do next, right? So again, you guys, your job is to help with exactly these things. So you're going to have to build it, and you're going to have to be confident enough and vocal enough to get out there and fix it for them, right? Because it's one thing to lose games at the weekend just because your team was outgunned or outmanned or was just unlucky. But it's another thing to just constantly be giving up soft goals that discourages your group just because you couldn't be asked to not organize it. And again, I told you a couple of seasons ago, I had a coach that every single time his team was taking a goal kick, wouldn't say a word. His team would take the goal kick, they would get scored on, and then he would be out on the field going berserk, just screaming at these kids, laying into them. But again, what did he do proactively to prevent it? Absolutely nothing. He was just reactionary. So don't react to it. Be proactive. Fix the problem before it's a problem. And if you do everything right, you get everything organized right, and you still get scored on, well, tough. At least you've made the effort, right? And they will learn, and we will continue to progress and try to get better from there. I mean, again, they're very young, so mistakes are going to happen no matter how beautifully you plan everything out. Execution sometimes is going to fail you, but we're going to at least be proactive, and we're going to try to organize it every single time.